Okay. So what are the sort of things that, if you're a leader, tech leader in a company, what are the things you should be doing to try and protect yourself and make sure you're not vulnerable to these sort of attacks?
I guess you do have the two areas of attack, right? You have the target, where someone's specifically looking for you, and the sort of drive-by attacks.
Yep.
So if you're being targeted specifically by a hacker, I mean, you just need to make sure you have competent developers, I guess, who know how to at least do their best, have some sort of idea of how to write secure code, maintain secure services.
But so even in that situation, I think you see, you might build something, the dev team moves on, and then that code hasn't been touched for years, it hasn't been updated or maintained. That's when it starts to become vulnerable, right?
It's like this curl example. So like years later, you could potentially, 3 years ago, you might have released a service that you thought at the time was perfectly secure, but you happen to be relying upon this version of libcurl that an exploit might come out on October 12th.
Open source library, which you don't really maintain, you just use it in your application.
So like on that, for one, you need the staff to make sure that your own code is written well.
Mm-hmm.
And then in terms of any and every dependency you might have, whether it's if you're running, if you have a WordPress website, do they have plugins? If any sort of CMS might have plugins, right? So you're using someone else's code. The WordPress itself would be, I imagine, incredibly secure. I think it powers the majority of the internet. So the core team of WordPress deliver a secure product, but you can install any plugin you want. You just happen to be Googling for how to implement some sort of functionality, you install the plugin. So you need to then hope that that plugin is secure and stays secure. And there are ways like, I know like with GitHub, right? If you happen to have a GitHub account, you host your code on GitHub, whether it's publicly or privately. They have things like, it's called like a depender bot, where you can have a manifest of the code, the plugins, dependencies, everything you use in your service. And this depender bot automatically checks the news, to see if updates are available for plugins, whether it's severe updates or low impact updates, and they'll automatically open pull requests. And if you have a decent CI set up to automatically run unit tests, then you should be able to see pretty easily if simply updating that plugin is going to break something or not. So it can make maintaining and updating plugins and dependencies as simple as clicking accept pull request.
Yep.
And then of course you have the OS level updates, where you just need to make sure you're updating your underlying operating system, or in the event of like a Docker container, make sure that container's image itself is updated and kept up to date.
I mean, the other one I've seen a bit of is just like APIs that are open, and how you've found those and you've got access into the system. I mean, how does that sort of come about?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I think the big Optus hack that happened months back, I think it was this year, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think.
Yeah.
From what I understand, that wasn't like an advanced, clever hack. Someone just found an API that when hit, it just simply returned the information. So that sort of comes back to, it's not like a dependency, I imagine. It wasn't some plugin that to keep up to date. It was just badly developed API.
Yeah, it's just basic human error, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
And I think like a lot of the times, like say like a login page for a website is probably the most secure page they will have, because it's where everyone thinks is going to be the target. But when I'm looking to hack a website, it's usually after work when kids are in bed and I have some free time, which is rare. So I have to use that time wisely.
Yeah, some of us go to the gym or exercise or whatever. You just go and try and look for vulnerabilities in websites.
I exercise my mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't waste time with like the heavily trafficked sections of a website, like a login page or like a home page or something. I'll go straight to looking for what I deem to be the less trafficked, possibly older functionality of a website that hasn't been kept up to date or was maybe rushed out or simply less cared about by developers.
Yep.
And that's probably where I'll find, if I'm going to find anything, it's probably where I'll find something.